Hello. Hello, my beautiful weirdos. Welcome to Merriment Mondays live. And I am streaming directly from my streamer, so it looks a little different on my end. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything looks good from my streaming. And I think we're all good. I'm just trying to see how I can see the chat over here on YouTube and Facebook. So just bear with me one second. Okay, I think that's it. There we go. All right. Welcome. Okay, so today we're going to talk about being alive. All right. We're going to talk about blending stardust and rebellion and make sure my mic is over here, and reverence and ridiculousness. And this is for people who feel like maybe they're seeking something, the philosophers, the sacred clown people, right? This is for the part of you that knows that the odds of you being here, the odds of your existence are so small that it's almost rude not to dance. Do you know what I mean? This isn't like a motivational talk. I'm calling it the cosmic perspective and the pleasure of being alive. Like, holy shit, you're alive, right? And we're going to talk about philosophy and psychology and rebellions and rituals and that moment you remember, oh, right, holy shit, I'm alive. Okay. So I also want to remind you that there are bonuses that come with every Merriment Mondays live, and they are included in the replay, which is loaded up every time that after this goes live. It goes right into the Positive Pulse and you get bonuses, and that's my free community. We just hit 600 members and we're almost at 200 free resources. There's more added every week. It's free, it's growing, it's joy without prerequisites, and you can join at uncustomary.org/pp for Positive Pulse. And this week's bonuses are a gratitude storage unit challenge where you can track your blessings like treasure. There's a cosmic journal prompts list so you can reflect on the miracle of your life. There's a mini pep talk where we're reminding you that you're already free. There's a holy fuck bingo where you can spot awe out in the wild. There's affirmations for cosmic grounding, and there's a bonus reflection for like a cosmic check-in. And if you're craving even more of this, I want to remind you that 111 FM is my like audio sanctuary where you can stream pep talks and download happy tips. You can call the exclusive hotline. You can feel good on demand. And to celebrate my 12 years in business and 13 years of merriment making, you can join for 13% off this month. So that's only like 73 cents a day, or you can do $30 a month. So now that that's all out of the way, let's get into this. All right, if it's safe for you, I want to tell you to close your eyes and start by imagining the soles of your feet. Wiggle your toes and bring back awareness to this like physical body. And then maybe picture yourself floating slowly above your seat, above where you're sitting, and then maybe above your car or your house, wherever that seat is existing. And then even further out, that you're sitting and floating above your neighborhood, your city. And then keep floating up. And imagine that you are now like just continuing to float up, and the light is starting to get smaller and the noise is starting to fade. And you're rising above the clouds and then into the silence of space. And now we can see the earth beneath you. And it's spinning, and it's beautiful, and it's fragile, and it's alive. And everything we've touched is down there. And from this view, your to-do list doesn't matter. What matters is that you're here. You see this. You're experiencing it. And maybe you start to think about other things that matter or don't matter. And then just kind of slowly return or just whoop, zoop back into your body, whatever feels right. Slide gently back through the atmosphere, through the rooftops, walls, clothes, skin, and land back in your physical meat sack and breathe. You're home, you're human, and you're here on purpose. And as Rumi said, you are the universe in ecstatic motion. You are here, you are alive, and you get to choose what this moment means. So think about in that just little exercise, this little thought exercise or visualization or whatever you want to call it, what looked different from space? What felt different from space? What was the thing that you felt like, oh, that's what matters here, or this is the different perspective, or this is what didn't matter here, or this is what I learned? And feel free to share it in the chat, whether you're here live or watching on the replay in the comments. And I want to remind you that to be human is a walking contradiction. You are made of stardust, but you are also stretch marks, right? You are heartbreak and hot coffee. You are evolution. You are glitter. You are the result of survivors. People who have your ancestors who have endured wars and famines and genocide and migrations and floods and pandemics and oppressive governments and loss and loss and loss, and yet they kept going. And you're here now. Someone crossed an ocean with nothing, you know, and someone gave birth without medicine, and someone lost children and they still sang, and someone picked berries and hunted and bartered and ran and screamed and danced and dreamed and lived long enough to create someone. And then that kept going and going and going. And then came you. And you live in a world where you can microwave soup and pet your dog while texting someone in another country. And you can change your name and change your mind and change your clothes and change your entire path all in one day. And yes, this moment and many moments in the same day might be very, very hard, but we have to remind ourselves in the cushiest time of human existence. And that's not to invalidate any of our feelings or our problems because they are still real, but it's also to gain some perspective. Joy Harjo says that you are the result of what survived. And that's not just what you've survived, but it's what, like everything that's came before you. So, what do we do with that? We could hustle, we can numb, we can wait until we're ready to live. But we forget. We spiral, we panic over small things that feel really big. And today I want us to zoom out. I want us to zoom out, not to escape, but to engage on purpose. Hi, Jen. Goosebumps. Good. Love goosebumps. So I want us to engage. I want us to engage. And this is the heart of the alt joy manifesto idea, that is to choose happiness on purpose. Not because life is easy, but because your life is yours, right? The only way to honor your life is to take advantage of your fucking freedom. Even the worst day you've had recently, again, we're not disevaluating, like invalidating any of your problems, any of your hardships. And believe me, sometimes when I tell people the things that I've been through, they're like, are you making this up? Like, you know, and I know, like, I feel like some neurodivergent people and the people that follow me, like, you have this kind of like lifestyle or like past experiences where the things that have happened to you, when you try to tell people like the things that you had happen to you, they're like, wait, I'm sorry, how many things happened to you in 6 months? Right? Like, like they don't understand. They don't get it. Like, that's part of it, right? That's part of your experience too. And we can't have light without dark. We can't have like someone having a very neutral or neurotypical experience without someone having the very like, you know, entrenched opposite experience, right? We have to have the highs and the lows too, right? And that part of that means the embodied experience of someone having all the chaos, right? But going back, even the worst day you had recently is still better, hear me out, than a medieval dungeon or a literal battlefield, right? Like, I'm trying to think, there was this episode of Arrested Development, or maybe it wasn't Arrested, I don't know, okay. But they said, like, it was a review, and it was satire, but it said, "This was better, quote, than prison." And and it makes me laugh, and I like the idea of Like, well, yeah, I mean, this is better than prison, you know? And I know that's like satire and maybe extreme, but maybe sometimes we need our metaphors to be extreme for us to kind of get it, for us to get back to like a middle landing place. And it's not, again, not bypassing the hard stuff. It just means zooming out and then zooming back in with reverence. You don't have to earn your spot on this planet, but you can honor it. And here today, what I want to do is help you remember your insignificance, right? In a way that makes you feel bold and not small. And when I say insignificance, I mean like thinking about how long the timeline of human history is, thinking about how small we feel among the stars and letting that be empowering, letting that make you feel bold and not small or insignificant, letting your insignificance make you feel significant. I want to help you feel free in how free you actually are. I want to help you use awe as a tool for grounding and action. I want to help you see your pleasure as presence and as a sacred thing. So I have 7 tools that we're going to help us do that today. So if there's something that you want to do this week that you think maybe will honor the miracle that is you, I would love to hear you say that in the comments. Anything that you have an idea of maybe now, or you can come up with that as we go. That could be kind of like an ongoing thought in your head of like a homework assignment, maybe something that you want to do this week that honors the miracle that is your life. See, Scotland's like, give me a shout out. Hello. Okay, so we're going to walk through 7 core ideas that can help us live with more wonder, more presence, and more playful reverence. So the first thing is the overview effect. So remember how we just did that like, woo, or imagining like we're up above the earth. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you are actually an astronaut, okay? And you're looking down at Earth from orbit, just like how we were doing. Borders are vanished. Borders in every capacity, right? Not just country borders, but everything. Petty grievances evaporate. It doesn't matter anymore. We're just looking at the wholeness of a planet. Astronauts often report this phenomenon that they had to give a word to because we didn't have a word for it before, and it's called the overview effect. And it's a spiritual and emotional shift that happens when you see Earth from from not being inside of it. And Edgar Mitchell says that you develop an instant global consciousness instantly. It's an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world and a compulsion to do something about it because you finally see like, oh my God, we are actually, it's just doing mushrooms by a million, right? You just kind of like really feel connected to everything, but then you see and you remember how disconnected everything actually is, right? And you're just like, oh my God, what are we doing down there? What are we doing? Why can't we just all get along? There should be just this huge connectivity and love. And instead, what has happened, right? So that's really the overview effect. It's actually a dissatisfaction and fear and sadness, really, that's happening. It's a grief. Jen says, not to mention how the contrast of suffering gives everything else more meaning and beauty. Exactly. You cannot, like I was saying, the light and the dark, the bipolarness of everything. Like if your values will never mean anything if they are not tested. So if you do not have like, if you have just the neutrality, the vanilla, you're riding just the monorail and you never have the ups and downs of that roller coaster, then you're really never going to understand and be able to comprehend the like, oh, well, finally, this feels good. This is absolutely so much better than the other thing. So from space, when we're having this like overview effect, this idea, which most of us will never get to experience, right? Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe space travel is coming faster than we think. Katy Perry just went to space, I don't know, but from space, borders disappear and you stop sweating the small stuff and you feel connected, or you really, really want to, right? And you don't have to go to space to feel this though. You really don't. You can get there with presence and with ritual and with perspective. And that's why I wanted to zoom out at the beginning of this, so that we can come back to this work, so that we can, we can meditate to do this. We can journal to do this. We can do rituals. We gather here to do this. We can try to think about the empathy towards other people. We can use the word sonder, looking that up and thinking about like, okay, every single person on the street that we pass has their own entire life, their own entire web of things that's going on beyond us and that we don't know. And that it goes beyond just like, you never know what someone else is going through. It's like remembering that like all of your memories, all of your history, every single thing that's ever happened to you that goes back however many years to birth, that is happening with every single other person. So it just, this reflection of it's bigger than compassion. It's connectivity. It's these wires that are all connecting to us. So think about this question, like what's something that's felt really big recently? Maybe something that you've been putting a lot of energy to, something that's been living rent free in your mind, and you're just like, oh, okay, you know what? If I was zoomed out on top of Earth, this isn't something that I would really care too much about. Or I don't know, like, is there something that you want to give yourself more perspective to? Is there something that you're like thinking about, like, oh my God, if I can zoom out on this, how can I allow myself to like feel less obsessive about this right now? How can I give myself more perspective? The fact that I'm alive on a spinning ball in outer space, like, am I making a bigger deal about this than I need to? And at the end of the day, can we like look at it and not avoid it and move on? And what's really the worst case scenario that's going to happen? And how can we feel better about that by acknowledging it and then just being like, you know what? Okay, so let's say the worst thing that happens is da 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 da. Can I handle it? Is it going to end my life? And how am I going to be able to, deal with this? And actually, how can I even dance with it? How can I have fun with it? So the second thing that I want to talk about is negativity bias. So your brain is Velcro for pain. Your brain is like wired for it. It's Velcro, like it's like pain comes and it's like, ah ha 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 ha, I got it. And then in Teflon, like on a pan, it's just like whoop, for joy. It like really doesn't want it like slides right off of you. And it's not your fault. It's this like survival wiring. But like gratitude, awe, and delight, these by actively incorporating these into your world, into your daily practices, and as a happiness habit, there it's not just something that can help your mental health, but I think it's a neurological rebellion. So Mary Oliver said that joy is not made to be a crumb. And that's why noticing beauty is not naive, it's not stupid, it's not childish, it's resistance. And gratitude is neurobiological counter programming. You know how it's like, it's not easy to just start exercising or start eating healthier. You have to like start doing it, and you have to work against the resistance and all this like built up programming and limiting beliefs and all this crap in your mind. It's not easy. And that's the same thing as happiness habits. It's the same thing as starting to like start looking for things that are beautiful in life, start practicing like looking for things that are good in the world, start making and spreading and documenting good news, start wanting to calibrate for almost like innocence again, right? I think a lot of us are missing our innocence. I was actually doing a lot of journaling on this the other day and just thinking about like, I think at the end of it, like, because I've been thinking a lot about like 2013 Mary and the difference between her and me and how I want to kind of merge the best parts of her and who I am today. And I realize there's a lot of anger that I feel about the feeling of like the innocence that's been ripped from me. And it's like, is there a way to get that back? And I think part of the answer is actually just no. Like once you've seen behind a certain curtain, you can't unsee something. But I actually think that there are ways to consistently put yourself in the way of beauty and awe and delight and practice trusting again. And I'm thinking about making that into some sort of like mini, I don't know what that would be. I hate the term program at this point, but like, I don't know if that's something anybody would be interested in, let me know. Cause I'm really interested in it for myself. But anyway, by noticing beauty and awe, and you're not really ignoring hard stuff. I know it can feel like you're like putting off the important things like finances and the adult things and everything, but you actually are really reclaiming your right to notice good stuff, which like it's the same with self-love. Like you got to start here and then you move here. You got to feel good to do good. So by looking at the good stuff, you're actually allowing yourself to have a larger threshold to move forward and do the things that are more adult or whatever it is. And you can rewire your experiences. You can just start with like 3 small things. Start with socks, start with sunlight. Like when you go outside, are you just going to work? Are you taking any time for yourself during the day, during the week? And that's also really something that I like to do inside of 111 FM. We have in the free bonuses today, you're getting that like gratitude unit storage challenge. And that's kind of like tracking your treasures or so your brain won't forget them, just in like a different kind of reframe. But I really like I don't want to say passivity, but I really like the ability to kind of just while you're going around, while you're looking for beauty and awe and delight, kind of having this like little radio in your ears, and you can just kind of listen to positive pep talks and voice notes and stuff. And it's like having this little companion to go around and go on your little wonder walks and whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. The next thing is hedonic adaptation. So we get used to anything very quickly, and that includes very good things. So when you get your dream apartment, it quickly becomes normal. We get excited for a period of time, and then we're just like, oh, okay. I mean, like, this is where I live now. And when you fall in love, there's like that new relationship energy, and then it dissipates and becomes a background thing. It's just part of your life now. And without having this specific intention for things, miracles will become mundane. Your baseline resets. And that's why we have to practice noticing. If you do what you do in the beginning with a relationship, it doesn't really go stale. But most of us kind of get into a groove and we get lazy, and that's part of life, you know? And but like if we were to move into our dream apartment and then every single day we're like, I can't believe I get to live here, you know, the miracle would still kind of feel alive. But your wonder can't just stay on autopilot. You know, you have to tune in, you have to practice it. You have to use a joy dial. And if you had a joy dial on, would it be turned to like trickling? Is it off? Is it turned to trickling? Is it a typhoon? Like, what's going on with it? And that's why we build rituals and habits. That's why we do things like, I don't know, even if it's silly, like lighting a candle before you do something. It's why we say thank you out loud. It's why we, I don't know, like literally anything at all, anything that works for you. Having some sort of practice in the morning or practice in the evening or something that you do during the day. Like, wonder does not last without effort. So where is your joy level at right now? Is it, you can comment like a trickle, a drizzle, a downpour, a typhoon? Is it off? Like, and where do you want it to be? You know? I think that's another thing that we maybe don't even like want to admit, that we're actually really scared for it to be at a typhoon because we've never maybe experienced that before. And like, what is that going to feel like? Where we're scared about that. We're scared of success. We're scared of the responsibility that will come with that, because happiness will probably mean that we've stepped into our goals more. You know, we've stepped into the things that we really want more. And like, what is that going to mean for us? Right. Okay, the fourth thing is anima mundi, memento mori, and amor fati. So a lot of Latin here. So last week we actually had a full lesson on anima mundi, and that means the soul of the world. So when you delight in your own being, you vibrate in harmony with the cosmos. So there's a whole episode on that from last week, and I would recommend that you go check that out. But also, don't forget that memento mori is basically just a phrase that means remember you will die. Okay? And I want this to motivate you and not scare you, because I believe that when we talk about self-acceptance, let me backtrack. A lot of the things that we avoid in life are things that we will struggle with and have problems with. So sometimes if we're scared of our finances, we won't look at our bank account. We'll just like avoid it. We'll have problems in our relationships because we're not communicating. We just avoid it, right? There's so many different examples of that, right? Now, I think that one of the biggest things that's actually the bigger umbrella on top of all of this is that we're avoiding our own mortality. And we think that we have this privilege of tomorrow. So when we say, well, I'll just deal with that tomorrow, I'm not going to deal with this today, I'll just figure it out later. There's actually a little bit of arrogance in that, of saying like, I have tomorrow to deal with it. And maybe you don't. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't know if if you've been around, but like, I mean, maybe you haven't lost anyone in your life, or maybe you've never had an experience yourself that would make you understand that this life is extremely temporary, but you will die. I'm so sorry to tell you, but you will die. And putting off everything is a way to avoid your own mortality. And it's a way to not accept who you are. Because if we can truly accept our own everything, I believe that we will accept our own mortality. And by doing that, we will accept everything else. So I think it's kind of like going straight to the top, like lesson like 1201 instead of 101. But like, I think if we practice, there's actually a term for it. It's mortality awareness. And the name for the therapy is so ridiculous. It's called terror management therapy. I think they need to come up with a different name for that. But if you focus on just embracing a little bit at a time the fact that you are impermanent, and what are you going to do with this one, as Mary Oliver says, this your one precious life, then maybe you won't put things off till tomorrow. Maybe you won't have this like arrogance that you have the time to do it, and you will embrace today. You will make a bucket list and start crossing things off. You will remember that you are alive and let that motivate you and not scare you. And then amor fati is to love your fate. And that means even the boring stuff, even the heavy stuff, even the traffic, every single thing that is going on in your life, like it's to love it all. It's to embrace it all. It's to be like, oh, I mean, okay, so I'm doing this like really weird, hard thing. Okay, but how can I delight in this? How can I be a part of this? How can I make this fun? You are the world. Remember, we're zooming out, we're looking at the world, we're seeing all the borders vanish. So if the soul of the world and the stardust pulses through you, and then one day you die, aka memento mori, you love your fate. So love your fate, love yourself even on the weird days. And as Kurt Vonnegut said, don't let the world make you hard. Okay, you are here and you're choosing this now. So choose it again and again every day with gratitude and exuberance and reverence. And then the next thing, we also talked about this a little bit last week, is animism and panpsychism. So this is a really fun kind of thing to play around with the idea of that everything has a pulse. Even atoms wiggle if you want to get scientific with it. And this means that the floor beneath you is buzzing. Your keys have a rhythm. You are part of something that breathes, not just you, but the earth, every single thing, the desk, all of this stuff is moving. And David Abram said, everything is alive. Everything is connected. Everything wants to be loved. And this means your coffee mug is alive. Your bedroom light is alive. You are never alone. Courtney Love just had a birthday. And she has one of my favorite quotes, which is, I look for the holy fuck in everything I see. How can we do that every day? You know? I think it's so like, have you ever been on vacation or go to like a camp or a Burning Man or something like that? And then you're like, oh my God, all of this feels so good. How can I bring this home with me? And then again, like we had that hedonic treadmill and we think about it and we think maybe we bring one thing home and then we kind of like lose that inspiration. But like, how could you do that? How could you apply that to daily life? How could you say, I look for the holy fuck in everything I see, and apply that control all to as much as you can throughout the day? Even you're in a cubicle and it's gray and it's boring. How can you find the holy fuck in that cubicle? Even if we're just going down to the fact that the atoms are wiggling inside of it. Even if you're just remembering that you're on a spinning ball in outer space. Even if you're just remembering like, oh my God, one day I'm going to die. And what if this is my last moment? How can I make this wonderful? Okay. What's something mundane that might feel suddenly magical to you, even in just this moment? Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling alive? Are you feeling connected? And remember, for more on Amina Mundi and animism and panpsychism, there's a most recent Merriment Mondays episode that called The World is Alive, and So Are You, and I recommend checking that out. Okay, so the sixth thing is leisure as resistance. So Joseph Piper said that leisure is the basis of culture. And there's literally something called the nap ministry, and they say that rest is resistance. So you don't need to earn your downtime. And it's something that I've really, really, really tried to integrate in the past like 4 months or so. I've been really trying to experiment with my own limits, my own rhythms. And we're still in this culture that idolizes hustle, and doing nothing, so to speak, I think is a radical act still. Joy does not make you lazy. I think it makes you free. Joy is not indulgent, it is revolutionary, and play is revolutionary. And that's why we do things like Operation Merriment and kindness missions and going out and playing and having fun. And this is why we get silly on purpose. It's why in 111 FM, there's a pep talk called the sacred clown energy. I really want you to get in touch with like, what do you do? Like, play by definition is like doing something like where there is purposelessness involved. Okay. So how can you really embrace leisure more? And then the seventh thing is existential absurdism, which is one of my favorite things. So it's not really about nihilism or even embracing the idea that life has no inherent meaning, because we really don't know what anything is. Even if you are 100% like, you are a believer of XYZ religion, you really won't know. Even if you have full faith in something, you won't know until the end. And maybe then we won't even know. We have no idea. To be 100% sure on something, I think personally, I think is arrogant. But what if we played around with the idea that there is no meaning to something, right? Or maybe not even life, but just like an experience, right? That you get to be in charge of making up that meaning. I think that can be hilarious. I think that can be really holy. I don't think it's scary. I think it can be empowering. That, like, if you are, I mean, you can give meaning to an object, you can decide what something means, or maybe like sidewalk chalk or eyelashes or traffic cones or a Wednesday, you get to decide the inherent meaning of that object or experience. I think, like, I remember one of my first blog posts ever was 100 ways to use a pencil, and just kind of playing around with what is it that this thing is. It's supposed to be a writing utensil, but it can also be a fake mustache. It can also be a hair holder. There's so many things that it can be. And in that same way, your life can be 8 billion different ways, right? Like, it can be used in so many different ways. And in that same way, like, when you have an experience where somebody is like maybe yelling at you or having a negative experience around you that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can choose to zoom out and be like, oh, right, I'm on a spinning ball and this is very silly, and laugh at that experience. Not laugh at them necessarily, but you can, I guess. But, like, you know what I mean? You get to decide what this means. You get to decide all of it. And maybe the point of all of this is to laugh and love and mess up and put googly eyes on trash cans. And, like, maybe that's your thing. Maybe that's your religion. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong in it though. Why not? You're here. So, I don't know, just play around with it. Just play around. Have fun. Have fun with this life. Oh, hi. You want to be on camera? Oh, you're warm. Yeah, sleepy time. What do you think about sacred clown energy? Oh. Okay. So some real life things that you can do, some practices are, I'm going to go over some of the bonuses in there. A gratitude storage unit. Whew, so much fur, Mitzi. Goodness. Whew. So every day you can add 1 or 3 oddly specific things that could go on your gratitude list or like a treasure list. The idea is like, I have too many things I'm grateful for. They had to go in a storage unit. It's so big. And I think getting really granular with gratitude is like where it's at. Getting really specific, not just being like, I have water, but being like, I love the way this water tastes. I love the way that, and thinking about like where it came from and going all the way back, and then thinking about the thing that you drank it out of, and then like, just giving like as specific as possible as you can with it. I think that is like really helping to activate like neuroplasticity, and like getting really specific with it, I think helps you even more. You can also choose it again. So every single morning when you wake up, say, I'm choosing to be here. I am choosing to be alive. I am choosing to be here. And say it again and again and again and again and again until it feels real. And then maybe you shift it and say, like, I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. And then we can look at the Typhoon versus the Trickle with that like joy dial that I was talking about. And then think about like, what is something that brings in a drizzle? What are the activities or the experiences or the people or the clothes or whatever that you notice will bring in, like, for sure, it's going to bring in a drizzle through that dial. Like, that it's coming through. And then what's bringing in a downpour? And how can we bring in more of both, right? How can we make sure that we're having consistent drizzles daily and then downpours like once a week and then typhoons once a month? Like, how can you schedule that in? And you know what? The Jumpstart Your Joy class is actually a really good thing. That's free in the Positive Pulse. That helps you kind of create like a fun algorithm and figure out like what it is that you actually really like. I would love for you to think about like a moment where you recently said like, holy fuck, in the best way, and share that. Okay. And then we also have the time travel thought experiment. So you can imagine showing your life to a peasant in the 1300s. Okay. And just think about how your soap would make them cry. You know what I mean? Like, we only just got access to indoor plumbing like 100 years ago. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that we have that are luxuries that we forget about to be grateful for, let alone granularly grateful for. And I think you can just do like that time travel experiment. You could do different time frames, you could do different countries, you could do countries now and think about like what is it that you have that you kind of use on a daily basis or experience or have access to that would blow the mind of someone else. What's that quote of like how technology and magic or it's like the same thing? I can't even think of it right now. Also, think about just like the lottery of your birth, right? You've won the jackpot of being human. You're here. And now what, right? Like what is it that you're going to do again with your one precious life here? And I mean, the odds of being human, I should have looked it up. Hold on, I'm going to do it now. What are the odds of being born? 1 in 4 trillion of just like one sperm fertilizing successfully an egg, and then like it calculates in like the odds of 2 people meeting, having a relationship long enough for them to conceive, and then having the egg, and then being born. 1 in 4 trillion. 1 in 400 trillion. That's insane. That's insane. Like that's an insane lottery. Like the mega pot or whatever it is isn't even that crazy. So you have truly won a lottery. So don't piss it away. I mean, don't piss it away. Go do something. Mm. What's something that you take for granted that would blow an ancestor's mind, like in your own lineage? Maybe even just a great grandmother. Okay. So we're going to wrap up here. I want to remind you that later today, the replays will be up inside of the Positive Pulse. And it's going to be in I think it's in the self-love section of the free library. So you're going to have the gratitude storage unit challenge, the cosmic journal prompts, the mini pep talk, the holy fuck bingo, the affirmations for cosmic grounding, and the bonus reflection. And if you're not in there, you can join at uncustomary.org/pp. And I want to remind you that so we also just reached 600 members. So that's really great. And there's almost 200 resources in there. And I also just want to remind you that you are a cosmic possibility, like impossibility, honestly, actually. You are a survivor's dream. You are a dancing atom molecule with the ability to feel and cry and create and love and laugh so hard that your stomach hurts. And you're not behind, and you're not broken, and you're not ordinary, and you are a miracle wearing sneakers or high heels or whatever you want to wear, or barefoot. I don't care. You don't have to have this all figured out right now. You just have to try to feel good on purpose and make time for it. And that is really what my goal is inside of 111 FM. Back in 2013, my blog, I remember just recently that I had renamed it Lust for Life because I wanted to document every moment of joy that I could find. And now 13 years later, I'm still doing that, but just with playlists and pep talks and printables and a hotline and broadcasts and rituals and voice notes and all these things. And 111 FM is positive radio for real life. It's a feel-good frequency. It's a sanctuary for the sacred ridiculousness of life. And one of my favorite things that I'm doing in there actually is that I'm writing a weekly happiness post, like old school weekly happiness posts. So it's fun. And you get 5-minute pep talks, you get the joy hotline, you get 100 happiness tips, you get the full unmuted audio program, which is a full book, but it's audio. You get joy broadcasts, you get EFT sessions, you get zines, downloadable mood boosts, good news feed. It's just a portal, and there's new stuff added every single month. And right now you can join for just 73 cents a day or $30 a month, and you can cancel anytime at uncustomary.org/111. You don't have to need to earn your joy. You just have to try to notice it. You just have to try to say yes. You just have to tune in because you are the miracle. You are the movement. You are the merriment maker. You are the holy fuck, right? You are the holy fuck in the thing that you see. You are the holy fuck. So I'm going to sign off here from the metaphorical 111 FM. This has been your Merriment Mondays live. And remember that you have to feel good to do good. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Happy Leo season, I think, actually.